Good morning. It's time for our daily lectionary reading for Wednesday, September 1st. We're in September already. It seems like just yesterday it was April. All right, so what do we have today? We've got Psalm 144, 9 to 15. We're wrapping that up. We've got Song of Solomon 8, 5 to 7. And then we've got Mark 7, 9 to 23. Familiar. Excuse me. I will sing a new song to you, O God, upon a 10-stringed harp. I will play to you, the one who gives victory to kings, who rescues his servant David. Rescue me from the cruel sword, and deliver me from the hands of aliens, whose mouths speak lies, and whose right hands are false. May our sons in their youth be like plants full grown, our daughters like corner pillars, cut for the building of a palace. I don't know. Why would your daughters be like corner pillars? May our barns be filled with produce of every kind, and may our sheep increase by thousands, by 10,000s in our fields, and may our cattle be heavy with young. May there be no breach in the walls, no exile, and no cry of distress in our streets. Happy are those to whom such blessings fall. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. And like I believe I said yesterday, the Lord, all uppercase like that, is used for Adonai, which is used instead of God's name. All right, Song of Solomon. We have a short one today. Chapter 8, verses 5 to 7. It's titled Homecoming. Who is that coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? Under the apple tree I awakened you. There your mother was in labor with you. There she who bore you was in labor. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is strong as death, passion fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, a raging flame. Many waters cannot quench love, neither can floods drown it. If one offered for love all the wealth of one's house, it would be utterly scorned. All right, on to Mark 7, 9 to 23. So this is going to sound familiar. He'd been coming to the church. Then he said to them, you have a fine way of rejecting the commandment of God in order to keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and mother, and whoever speaks evil of father or mother must surely die. But you say, if anyone tells father or mother, whatever support you might have had from me is korban, that is an offering to God, then you no longer permit it doing anything for a father or mother, thus making void the word of God through your tradition that you've handed on. And you do many things like this. And then he called the crowd again and said to them, listen to me, all of you, and understand. There's nothing outside a person that can, by going in, defile. But the things that come out are what defile. And when he left the crowd and entered the house, his disciples asked him about the parable. He said to them, then do you also fail to understand? Do you not see that whatever goes into a person from outside cannot defile? Since it enters not the heart, but the stomach, and goes out into the sewer. Thus he declared all foods clean. And he said, it is what comes out of a person that defiles, for it is from within, from the human heart, that evil intentions come. Fornication, theft, murder, adultery, avarice, wickedness, deceit, licentiousness, envy, slander, pride, folly, all these things come from within, and they defile a person. Isn't that a great passage? I love that passage. Probably why I preached on it a couple weeks ago. This practice of korban is, they found a loophole around having to support their parents when they got older. And by basically willing their property to the temple, to God, after they died. So they get in, tell their parents, I can't give you any money. That's God's money. Not my money, it's God's money. Uh, Here's my take on this, guys. If you have to find loopholes around the rules or precepts of your faith, you don't have an authentic faith. That's my 2 cents. That is not the official stance of anyone that I know of. But if you have to spend all your energy trying to figure out how not to do what your faith tells you to do, there's a problem with your faith. Because if it's a real authentic faith, a real authentic relationship with God, you will want to do the things that your faith tells you to do. And that's this right here, this finding these traditions that they're trying to find ways around the other rules and traditions that were laid out. I really just find that problematic. And I know we're picking on Judaism right now because this is a Jewish law. Uh, and there's another one, and I can't remember the name for it. Um, but there is a rule, the Talmud, and Torah, well, I think it's from the Torah and the Talmud, that says you basically, in your own threshold, once you've crossed your own threshold, you can do certain things that you can't do outside. It's all that not working on the Sabbath. Sorry, on the Sabbath. And like in New York, there's the Jewish community in New York that they ran a cable around the neighborhood, right, to enclose it so that became the threshold, so that they could do the things that you could do on the inside of your own threshold. And to me, that's just finding a way around the rules. My religion says that in my own home I can do this, but I can't do it outside on the Sabbath. So I'm going to create a false threshold around my neighborhood so that I can do those things out there. And that's one just a great example of trying to find a loophole, a way around the rules. What your faith is telling you to do. Um, and I just have problems with that. Find a new faith. There's plenty of faith traditions out there. You can worship God in many different ways. Uh, why I'm not a Southern Baptist anymore. There's a lot of things that I just don't agree with their rules. So instead of trying to find ways around their rules, I found a different faith tradition. So if you're spending your time trying to figure out how to get around the rules, you need to really step back and examine your relationship with your faith. I've preached enough for this morning. I will see you guys later.